Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey there, Post+Institute. This is Kristi, Saul, the co-founder, coming at you live with the best little parenting show on the internet. I hope you guys are doing well this evening. I want to start by plugging these books real quick. Brian's book, From Fear to Love. We have a promotional website, feartolovebook.com, where you can get that book on discount. Then we have this book right here, The Great Behavior Breakdown. And this book right here, our Fear to Love workbook. These two, let's see, this one you can get on Amazon and at postinstitute.com. This one is in print on Amazon, and I just added it to postinstitute.com in print because I've been told that I will have a shipment coming by the end of the month. Well, hey, Jonathan Torres, I am doing fine. How are you doing, young man? I hope you're having a fabulous day. And hey, Tracy, it's good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well. So my topic tonight is just coming straight from my life experience. I thought I was a really good communicator. Like I really did. Like, you know, I teach people about parenting and I get on Zoom and I listen and we talk and we come up with all kinds of great solutions and I get all kinds of great feedback from families. But let me tell you something. I'm teaching my daughter how to drive. And man, am I finding out about my challenges in communication. Has anybody else had any experiences like that? Where, like, you know, you think you're really good at something. And then, you know, you're put into a situation, maybe that's a little different, or maybe there's people watching, and then your nerves get the best of you. And all of a sudden, you find out that something that you thought you were really good at, you're not so great at. Or you're lack. You have some areas to work on. And so Bethany says, oh, you've got all 3 books and you can't wait. Oh, that is awesome. I'm excited for you, Bethany. I'm going to be putting a package together on the website. And that's another thing. So and another thing is I am in the process, just now beginning, the very beginning phases, because it is time for the Post+Institute to do a complete redesign of our website, clean things up, get things a little more current in the look and feel, probably a new shopping cart. Oh, the bottom line is I'm a single parent and an entrepreneur, and I am like decisioned out. I am so decisioned out. And so, you know, I guess my message today is just about being human, that we're all human and we can all hit a wall every now and then about different things. And I have sort of hit the wall in decision making. I just feel like I don't want to make any more decisions. Like, I don't want to make any more decisions. And yet I know I've got a whole bunch of decisions coming. And so maybe I just need to give myself permission to take a mental vacation so that I can get my creative juices flowing again, so I can jump in and make the decisions that I need to make. And hopefully with a little rest and a little mental vacation, I can get my communication skills, because my daughter and I were just having a big old laugh, because here she is, you know, she is paying attention to where she is going. And I literally said, when you get to the stoplight, go this way or go that way. She's like, Mom, I don't know which way this way is because I can't look at you. If we both live through her learning how to drive, man, it's going to be incredible. I would love it if there were other people who hopped on and gave me some stories about them teaching their kids how to drive. I think it's interesting. It's such an interesting, I'm just going to give a little reflection from my heart. One of the things that's really interesting about the process is, you know, you're teaching someone 15, 16, 17, you know, maybe you've been teaching a little bit of driving along the way. A lot of people do, depending on where you live or where you grew up. You know, a lot of times they start, you know, when they're really, really little and they can sit on your lap and you're operating the gas and brake and they're steering, but maybe you've got your hand on that bottom part of the steering wheel just in case, right? Yeah, and then, you know, you work up to maybe them driving like, maybe it's a lawnmower or maybe it's a golf cart, or maybe you live out in the country and there's a way that they can drive a car someplace that is, you know, relatively safe, that they're not going to get hurt and they're not going to hurt anybody else. And the thing is because of mobility, Marley's not had any of those experiences. And so she's beginning to drive like from scratch. And so one of the things I love is like the challenge in my mind of breaking things down into small components for the purpose of teaching. And so that may be something for you to ponder as a parent. If there's something that you're trying to teach your child, or there's something that they're doing and you're like, how do I get them to not do that? Instead of thinking about what not to do, think about what it is you're wanting them to learn. And then find ways to break it down into very small steps, like literally one tiny little step at a time. And maybe couple those, for some kids, even a block of 3 instructions is too much. So then you experiment with it. You know, you might be like, okay, 2 instructions or 1 instruction at a time. And you take it one little step at a time, right? So that's one thing that's coming to my mind. And I was listening to someone that I follow on TikTok, and I just love what he said. He said, songs, games, preparation, and practice. Anytime you're trying to teach, especially little ones, new things, turn it into song, a game. You prepare before you walk out the door, before you're getting ready to do the whatever, and then practice. And just think of a lot of times where you're doing it and you're teaching, and instead of thinking of it like, you know, this counts for a grade, because it's not what this is about. It doesn't count for a grade. It's always practice. It's always practice. There's lots of practice before people do things independently. So they learn from watching us first and listening to us second. That's super important. What I think is really interesting about the process of teaching about driving is most kids want to learn how to drive. There might be some anxiety about it. I've noticed a lot of young people, you know, just thinking about my nieces, my nephews, lots of kids that I know, and I know a lot of kids, they're waiting a little bit longer to take on driving. There's a little more, I don't know, it's just so different, you know. When I was growing up, like, boy, that was a big thing. Like in my family, on my 16th birthday, my dad took me to go get my driver's license, to go take the driving test, and I passed, and we went out to dinner, and it was a big deal, you know. It was like what you do on your 16th birthday. And I find it interesting that I know so many kids who are delaying that, and that's fine. You know, there's nothing at all wrong with delaying until you feel like you're ready. And I think it's important that kids understand the level of seriousness of driving a vehicle. There's a lot to it and a lot to pay attention to. And so I have a lot of respect for whatever the process is and how children, young people, teens, young adults, whatever term fits best, helping them navigate that and know that they're ready. But what I think is also really magical is at that place in life when everything in their biology is pushing them towards autonomy, and the craving of autonomy is so present. And there may even be places where there are huge gaps in the relationship or even conflicts. And yet here we are, driver's seat, passenger seat, me giving instructions of something that's super important that could save your life, because, you know, I've been driving for a really long time. Almost 50 years, actually. I'm 55 and I started driving it. Well, actually 50 years I've been driving. And so, yeah, you know, to be able to have knowledge and wisdom and abilities to teach, especially about something that kids really want, and that is about learning how to drive, because it's going to help them with their independence. And oftentimes there they are, a snarky teenager, just bent on independence, feeling it in their spirit, feeling it in their biology. And then here we have to get in the car together so that I can teach you how to do something that you really want to do. And so I think there's something really precious about that. I think it may even be like one of the final parent-child frontiers that we get to go through really hand in hand with our kids. I don't know why I just got so emotional saying that, but I did. Just that feeling of it is really precious. And I'm not really, I mean, I'm excited. I wouldn't say I'm in a hurry. Like I'm trying to follow my daughter's pace. We're driving every single day. She's doing a great job. You know, we've gone past the sort of elementary pieces of keeping it in your lane in a steady pace. And now we're figuring out how to do left-hand turns and right-hand turns and keep your speed up so that when you make your turn, you're not slowing down and everybody in traffic. Because at some point, you know, I want her to be able to drive in other areas and bigger communities. And our community has a fair little amount of traffic. So I guess maybe my emotionality is just that realization that this may be, one of those final frontiers that we really get to do together, you know, and we're so together in it. And yeah, today she's really sick of my face and she's sick of my voice, but I know that won't stay forever. And I know I'll get better at giving my verbal communication. Like I literally realize how, like my brain is like how tongue-tied and frustrated I get trying to get the words out for the instructions because I'm so used to being hands-on. And so not only is this like a lesson, is she experiencing lots of lessons, but I'm also learning as well. I'm learning some things about myself, and I think probably stepping off into driving a little earlier in the day would be good so that I'm not so tired and my communication might be a little sharper. So I don't know. I'm sure you guys have stories and I would love to hear your stories too. And I wanted to tell you guys that the last Sunday of every month, if you're not already a member, we have a membership called the New Parenting Revolution, and it's got like well over 50 hours of education on it. Plus we have a private Facebook page, and we started last month, but we're formalizing it this month. The last Sunday of every month, we're going to be doing a live Zoom where we have a little piece of education and then lots of consult and Q&A so we can all learn and grow together. And hopefully my verbal communication skills will be on point for that event. So I hope that you guys are able to, you know, maybe just learn a little something or hear something in my openness about this process that I'm in parenting. And, you know, it's just different. I've taught lots of other people how to drive, but it's a little different. Marley has a lot. You know, she's doing everything with her hand. One hand drives, one hand controls the gas and brake, and she also has to control the blinker with that hand too. And so it's so much. There's so much that she has to be able to manage that it is different to teach. But I have great confidence that we're going to figure it out. One little step at a time, we're going to figure it out. So, you know, maybe there's something encouraging in that for you if you have a child who has to learn how to do things differently, or maybe it's not like Marley has some things that she literally has to do differently than I've ever experienced in driving. And so that's hard to teach about. I can only teach about those other aspects of it. And maybe that's the same. Maybe you have kids in your family who have physical differences that mean you have to teach in a different way, or maybe they have differences in learning style, so you have to break down how you teach differently. So before you just say, oh, it's all a bust and it's never going to happen, take some deep breaths and think about what the most simple steps are, and maybe start there. You know, maybe they just start with the first 3 simple steps, and then you help with the rest, or you have a lot of grace around the rest. So you just start where it is you need to start, and break it down to those simple components, and know that they're going to get there. They're going to get there. We're going to find a way. It's all going to work out. I always believe that. I have great belief in that. So if you've not already done so today, set aside anything you've been teaching about. Don't even bring it up again. I'm not going to talk about driving for the rest of the night. Yeah, they get tired of hearing about it sometimes, and they just want to relax and enjoy life. So put all those things that you've been teaching about or stressing about or fussing about, just set them to the side. Take a few minutes to yourself. Maybe call a friend and talk about what your day's been like, or pull up a Facebook Live and tell your friend list about your day. It might make you feel a little bit better. And then go spend some time with your children, just enjoying them, just loving on them, just really noticing who they are as unique, beautiful individuals. Let the love you have for them shine from your eyes. Let them feel it from your being. Remember that their language of communication is play, create. Let them be in charge a little bit. It's okay. Let them be the boss and direct the play. You'll learn so much. You'll learn so much about how they see the world. You'll learn about things that you didn't even realize that might be under the surface when you're just allowing them to be in charge and direct what's going on in the play engagement. And they'll feel the love that you have for them, and everything that you're wanting to teach is right on the other side of the relationship that you're building. And remember, in any given moment, we can act out of our blueprints of stress and fear and overwhelm. Or we can take 1 to 2 to 3 deep breaths, and we can choose love. Much love to you all. Have a blessed night.